What up is me, Prez, and guess what? You done stumbled upon a real Ninja Reacts. This is where we react to interesting videos, okay? I ain't got my intro all down for this. This is only the third video, but we got a nice video for you. I've been watching this guy, Pastor Jeff from Apologia Church. I'm not religious or anything like that. He just got some good videos. So I was put on to him. I like how he debate. I like a good argument. So that's why I am watching his content. Okay, so let's jump right into it and do it. Check him out on YouTube. Pastor Jeff, Apologia Church, Apologia Studios. That's what it's called. Let's check it out. Jeff and Cy arguing with millennials. I don't know who Cy is, but let's check it out. Millennials suck. Just to let you know. They think they know everything. Let's check it out.
Welcome. I'm Jeff.
Hi, I'm Brenna.
Hello, Brenna. Hello. Okay, there you go. Good. Come on, you guys come on. What's your name again?
Daniel.
Daniel, Brenna.
Yes.
This is Cy. I'm Jeff.
How you doing?
So, if you get like a little closer, we're gonna go into this mic here.
Okay.
So, women's rights. We're actually holding a conference next week, and so we wanted to talk to ASU college students.
Okay.
What's that?
Okay.
Go to
So like stand here.
Yeah.
Like I'm back here.
Like really famous.
Okay.
We'll be famous.
Is that better?
Jeff kind of like Jesus.
You want me to stand over there? Okay. There? Size there? Okay, good. Okay, we're good? Yeah. Set. Okay. Daniel, Brenna. Okay, so we're holding a conference next week, and want to talk to ASU students about...
This starts off pretty lighthearted. Like, is it going to be an argument? Let's check it out.
what you're taught, what you believe about women's rights. And so obviously the centerpiece of that big question, big in the last election especially, is women's rights for abortion. Okay. So you guys are ASU students walking around?
Yeah.
What's your perspective?
Well, as a woman, I definitely believe you should have the right to make choices about your body.
Okay.
Just 100% believe that.
Okay.
I took a women's studies class too, and there's a lot of like talk about what is okay to say about a woman and stuff, and I think it's all about context too when you're saying certain things to women.
So women are a protected class because men are the protectors of women. You are a protected class, but we can say whatever the fuck we want to about you bitches.
I believe how someone takes it, like information into as a woman, but in all honesty, I think everyone should deserve equal rights. But
I appreciate that equal rights shit when it comes to pregnancy and abortion, but dad don't have a right.
Yeah.
Everyone deserves equal rights.
Yeah.
100%. Agree. Daniel, how do you feel about it?
About the abortion issue. I would say it's more of like a pragmatic deal.
Okay.
You know? Like to
Let's be Jeff.
outlaw it would cause a lot of people to resort to like either having a child that they don't want or can't support or both. And it would also cause people to have, or women in general, to resort to like coat hanger type stuff. Like,
did the coat hanger killing a baby actually was a thing? I just bit my tongue. But was the coat hanger shoved up the vagina trying to scrape out a baby? Does that even work like that? Did that even work at all? Because if it worked, then we can't be talking about that. Okay, shit. If motherfuckers want to shove a hanger up their shit and that actually works, okay, bitch, you stupid. Okay, let's. I'm pretty sure they don't use that at the hospital. Or maybe they do. I don't know how abortions are made. I don't know if the abortion machine got, hey Arnold stickers on it. Uh, if it got if it got Bluetooth, I don't know what the abortion machine looks like.
Methods.
Yeah, like
Unsafe.
just unsafe methods, right?
Yeah.
I think ultimately it should.
So thirsty to have an abortion, you shove a hanger up there. Something's wrong with you, bitch. It's not the baby. It's not that you're pregnant. It's that you're fucking nuts.
Be left to her choice, like completely, but there should be like constraints, like you can't do it after in like the third trimester.
Yeah, I definitely believe that.
You agree with that? So limit on the third trimester.
Yeah.
Like no partial birth type deal. It's like if it's viable outside of the womb, it's like there's no real, like I don't see it as a good reason to abort, even if it seems like you're just kind of doing it just to do it.
Okay. Well, let me ask you about that the third trimester. It happens a lot. People say
all bitches do it to just do it. Most bitches, I'm gonna say that. And I don't got no problem calling a woman to get an abortion a bitch. So what? Y'all get abortions. You got you got a problem with it? Leave a comment below on how many abortions you had, so we can talk about it.
women's right to choose, and then we end up getting to the third trimester. People say, yeah, but not there. So what do you say to the person that says, isn't it inconsistent to say not there? What's your argument to say that it should be allowed in the third trimester, but not? It shouldn't be allowed in the third trimester, but it should be allowed early on. What would you say?
I think because I think you've had that much time to think about it, and it's an impulse decision if you're making it all of a sudden then.
Women make the stupidest excuses on why to get an abortion. She just said, wait till the third trimester so you just know for sure if you want to do it or not. Or basically, that's what she said. That's stupid.
Right there.
When, in the beginning, or?
Oh no, in your third trimester, if you're trying to decide to abort, like that kind of seems like an impulse decision more than anything else.
At the end?
Yeah.
An impulse decision. What happened to the dick in the vagina? That was an impulse decision. You know what happens when that goes in there? Raw. They like it raw.
Okay, I'm trying to follow you. So it's an impulse decision at the okay. And so how do you feel about that?
I feel like it's almost malicious at that point because it can survive. Like if you take it to term, at the beginning, it's more like it's unviable. It's like if you do not want a baby in general, it's like you have two terms to decide that you don't want to have the kid, and it's like.
I like how women got the choice if they don't want a baby or not. We don't got that choice. Well, we do now, sort of, because they took away the Roe versus Wade in some states. So some ladies got the same fate as the guys. Hey, you get pregnant, got to deal with it. That's why. That's why guys don't give a fuck. We've always had to deal with the babies anyway. Deal with the bitches, deal with the babies. That's why we don't. That's why we don't like abortion, because we don't get it. Well, we gotta take a baby. We gotta. You've been on getting on my. You talking about 9 months? You've been getting on my nerve for like the last 4 years, bitch. You an inconvenience.
I think it goes back more to like I don't see it as a person in general, or like it's obviously human, but I don't see it as human. So
it's obviously human, but you don't see it as human. That's stupid.
It's like more acceptable to me to abort it at that point. But if you let it grow to where it can theoretically, or it can in reality, like live, if you take it out either through like cesarean section or something, yeah, then it just seems like malicious, like pointless. It's like, well, they can live. Why would you like wait and then terminate?
Okay, I appreciate that.
They are living in the womb already. Living things grow. A fetus, an embryo, it grows. That means it's alive because it grows.
Okay, but so it's interesting as we're hearing students talking about abortion all over campus. We generally hear kind of the same things. And what's interesting, and I'd like to hear what you guys say about this, is that it seems to me that over the last decade, especially, people who are a part of the abortion industry, people in academia, college students, will typically acknowledge today that what is in the womb from conception is obviously biologically human.
Right.
And you just said that. It's obviously human.
Yeah, like
from
what else would it be?
It's human, right? If we went dug deep, we see that's a human being, has its own DNA. But what we say is what you just said, but I don't see it as human. Like, it's human, but I don't see it as really worthy of protection or anything like that. And so I find that interesting.
See how you slipped that in there? Real worthy of protection or anything like that.
And how do you deal with that? How do we answer that conflict? That when someone says, say someone that's pro-life says, well, you grant that it's human, but you say that, but I'm not going to give it any protection until maybe it looks a little more like a human?
Until it could be physically separated from the mother and can still live, I would say.
Okay. How would you feel about that?
Yeah, I feel the same way. Like, if you can take it out of the mother and it can thrive, then yeah.
Okay.
But if you take it out of the mother, like,
And it dies.
yeah.
Well, that all that can be contradicted, because what if you took it out and put it in another woman? It can still live. So it don't need that mom, actually. You know what I mean? I don't know if they can do that. I'm pretty sure they can do that. They can put a baby in another lady. Maybe. I don't know. Shut up, Prez.
Just by being disconnected from the mother, it dies. Like, then it's like, I don't really consider it to be a person in and of itself.
This gets to a really interesting question. I'd love to see what you guys say about this. So it seems as though that's very consistent, by the way, in terms of like what is normally said about this. And so when you take what you just said about the mother's sort of like the life support for the child, right? Basically. And you say, well, if it's dependent upon the mother for life support, then we ought to be able to kill it. That's
right, because
standard.
it's the mother's choice to either give it life support or not to give it life support.
So then that's consistent across the board with what everyone says. What do you say in that point? The standard is it's a human being, but if it's dependent upon someone or something else, we ought to be able to kill it. So let's say if a human being gets into a car accident, is dependent upon life support, or if a person gets a brain.
You're going to see them just say, they're going to think about it real quick. It's just going to light up in their head.
Tumor or something, and they're dependent upon life support. Are we able to just kill them at will because they're dependent upon something or somebody else?
Well, don't we do the power of attorney at that time usually, or someone who's in charge decides whether to pull the plug or not?
True. But I guess in terms of the standard, if there's a human being that's dependent upon somebody or something else, the standard ought to be we can kill them.
Well, it depends, because I would say it depends on whether that person has lived long enough. Like, I guess whether they initially became.
Now, this is a sad thing to see. I mean, there's many men like this young man right here. They need to be right too, okay? Because they kind of feminized. So he about to twist whatever he look like a young man that you can change his mind, because he's trying to logically say these things. Let's see what happens.
Viable to begin with, because that would let's see, if you take a child out of the womb at the third trimester, so it's viable, but you've removed it, but then it still needs life support to live, obviously, to get to full term. Then you would keep it on life support. You wouldn't just leave it there. It's kind of like what you need. It needs to be alive first in order to even qualify. Like, if it's never alive to begin with.
So breathe.
That's the question I would ask is, scientifically, biologically, at conception, it's alive, right? at conception, there's life, DNA. It's biologically distinct.
Look like he's getting through to this young man. He just thought about it. Huh? Oh, okay. Okay. We talk about murder now. The murder game.
Yeah, it's
Christians would say it's the image of God. It's life from conception. But what we're saying is when it gets out of the womb and we have to give it life support, say, for example, it's out of the womb now, right?
Okay.
But it still needs some help along the way.
Right.
It needs some help along the way. We attach it to some life support. It was on the life support of the mother. Now it's on this artificial life support over here. What would happen to somebody if they walked into that room and began to hack it into pieces? What should happen to them?
That would be murder. Yeah, because
Why?
Because at that point, if you were
Wow, got him.
Light bulb.
This is good. Now, so we're obviously Christians, and we're asking these questions because we think it'd be good to start having these dialogues together, right? Start saying, like, what do we really believe? Why do we believe this is okay in our culture? Because a long time ago, it wasn't the norm. Roe v. Wade changed a lot of things. And what's interesting to me, and you guys are college students, so you guys are committed to your own intellect and growing as people, and I respect that. What's interesting is that in 1973, when Roe v. Wade happened, the Supreme Court said, what's in the womb is potential human life. Now, at the time, Christians at the time would have said, no, it's image of God. It's worthy of value and dignity and love. But the Supreme Court said, no, it's potential human life. But now you guys know. You do biology classes and stuff, like science? Is that anywhere you're going?
I'm the psychology.
Psychology, okay.
Economics.
Okay, so I know that if we went into one of these classrooms here that we're talking about biology, there's no question, no dispute, because of what we know about DNA and human genome, all those things, that at the moment of conception, it has all the biological components of a human being.
Right. And
At
if you
conception.
let it carry on, then it would grow to full turn to
Because
be human.
it's not a cat,
to be
it's a human.
person.
Right. So that's interesting is that when Roe v. Wade happened, there was potential human life, but we know that was a false premise. It's human life from conception. And as we move along the lines, you said something that was precious to me. I think it's amazing. You said, I believe that all humans deserve equal rights. I fundamentally agree. All humans deserve equal rights. But if we press that and we think about it together as a community, and we say, we're all going to bite down on that and accept it. All humans deserve equal rights. That would mean that we'd have to give that human being in the womb equal rights. And you said something even, I think, was even more powerful. You said women. All women deserve to be protected. But there's also 500,000 women in the womb every year.
I also believe, though, that if we did ban abortion, that there needs to be better alternatives for women to basically promote adoption.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
there are so many.
They need better options on how women can fuck. That's what you want to say. We want to fuck. Let us fuck.
Problems with the foster care system in order.
No, 100% agree.
So
Yeah.
I think that's why a lot of abortion happens is parents fear that if they don't want to have the kid, well, where's it going to go that's going to thrive technically?
Yeah.
You're going to send it to a foster home. It's not
Yeah,
going to thrive.
it's a mess.
Yeah.
So let me tell you something that I've heard, and then tell me how you'd respond to it. So we try to love and care for a lot of women that are considering abortion. We've seen over 70 babies saved, hundreds across the country. And one of the things we always offer women is we say to them when they're considering abortion or going in to have one, we say, we'll adopt your baby, we'll pay for everything. We'll pay for the medical, you will literally pay nothing, we'll take care of it. I'd like to hear what you say to this. They say to us, when we tell them we'll adopt your baby, as they're walking into the abortion clinic, they'll say, I can never give my baby up for adoption. And then they walk inside and they go through with the abortion. What do
They
we...
grow that attachment right away.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Isn't
It's a natural attachment.
Isn't it amazing? It's like a weird conflict. Like it's I can never give my baby up for adoption, but then they go in and they actually
It's because there's a
kill it.
face to it. If there's
Right.
no face, then they can get rid of it.
Yeah. So what you want to...
No, I was wondering, you did say something earlier. You said that women have a right to what happens to their body.
Yeah.
Who gives them that right?
Well, technically the government gives them that, right?
So if the government were to change and say women no longer have a right to their bodies, and we're going to actually legislate rape because it happens in the back alley. and it's kind of messy when it happens in the back alley. I mean, there's garbage and stuff like that. So we're going to legislate rape. We're going to take away the rights from women. And I know I use extreme examples, and I apologize for that. But we're going to have a rape center. And because women no longer have the rights, we're going to say they don't have the rights. And if we outlaw rape, you know how rapes have happened in the past. I mean, people rape there, they do it. Here we're going to legislate it. We might even, instead of people being raped with a knife and with a gun, we're going to actually give people drugs here so they can knock the woman out, and make it safer, make it cleaner.
Damn.
You would see how that would be a problem.
Oh, Sai, you just killed me. You just went crazy right there. You just went crazy, Sai. And this going over the girl's head. She don't like this. Girls don't get analogy. They don't understand. You know what I mean? Sorry, ladies, if you're watching. I don't got a lot of women viewers, but y'all don't get analogies. This is gonna offend her. The guy gets it.
It'd be like an endorsement of rape.
Right.
It is an endorsement.
So you had said earlier that if we outlaw abortion, then it can go back to the back alleys.
Yeah.
So the question is not really, what will happen if it's outlawed. The question is, where do we get our rights, and who says whether it's right or wrong to kill a baby? Now, as Christians, we'll say that humans have a right by God, given to us by God. And therefore, I think that if you were to believe that stance, that we're given a God-given right for life, then you would actually join us in our view that killing the baby at any point would be wrong. So the issue is not really what we think about abortion. When I see people who are pro-abortion, I do not think that they're wicked people. I think that they have deceived themselves into giving the child a different classification because of their worldview. Because, one thing I say too is, except for the grace of God, I'm arguing just like people who tried to make exceptions for killing a baby. But as Christians, we say, no, God has given us rights. And we hope and we pray that people who are for abortion, not that they become against abortion, is that God saves them. That God saves them so that not only do they recognize the life of the
Bars! Sai going crazy right now.
right of the baby and the life of the baby, but their own. Because for somebody to take a stance and to say, well, that baby or that child does not deserve the right to live, that reflects on their rights, for their own body. Because if it can happen to a baby, it can happen to you too.
Yeah.
The government, if it's the government that gives rights, they could change that tomorrow.
You think about this for a second, in terms of how we should be thinking through the issue, together, because we're all in this together. We're living this thing.
It's a God-given right. I'm gonna start saying that to everything. I can drive. It's a God-given right.
Community. It's all happening in centers around us. So there was a time not long ago where people used to look at a class of people. This wasn't long at all. People still alive from this. They used to say, I know it looks like a person. It's not a person, it's a Jew.
Right. Yeah.
And they say we can kill him because it's not a person, it's a Jew. Right? So a government decided this is a class of human beings that doesn't deserve our love or protection. Right? And so they were seen as animals and waste. And they were destroyed. And we would say the same thing is happening today, is that we all recognize that's a human being from conception, we grant it, but they're being killed. 3,000 a day are dying in our nation a day. That's a 9/11 every single day. But what we tend to do in our culture is we tend to look at it and say, yeah, but it's not worthy of protection or my love or value. And what I admire about what you said to begin with was your obvious commitment to human beings, equal rights, women's rights. But I think that if we thought through those things more consistently, we would look at what's in the womb, and we'd say, that's a woman that deserves my protection. She's a little woman that deserves my protection. She's a human that deserves my protection and my love. And I think we would join together in saying there are better ways to address the problem.
Oh yeah, I definitely think there are better ways, but where we are now, and I think where our society is, and how basically just putting a baby and putting up for adoption or putting orphan or foster, it's just not, I think the mother, it's just not a safe place for her to think the baby's going. I think that's...
Don't kill the baby. Bitch, you just heard him say all this stuff and you still said kill the baby.
And then also the problem with...
just say it. Just say, hey, if I don't want my baby, I don't even want it alive. I don't want it running around. I don't want it to come and looking for me later. I don't want to be guilty because I have a baby out in the world. So I want to kill it. Just say that.
the separation
Yeah.
from the baby after you have it. I mean, obviously there are a lot of problems after an abortion. You have
Is there a separation after the abortion? Is there no separation anxiety?
definitely a lot of mental
Yeah.
problems.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't say like
Not at all, because they get them all the time. You don't get no mental problems from no abortion. If you did, they wouldn't let you get abortion.
I personally would not choose abortion as like your priority or like something
That means she would get an abortion.
you just do
Go
automatically.
to.
Yeah, like your go-to basically. I think it should be used in like the most extreme cases.
What? Can I ask you to think about something? You don't have to respond.
Yeah.
But just think about something for a moment. Because I hear that a lot. If we set that as a standard, we say life's going to be hard, and it'll be emotionally difficult or financially difficult for a mother. I hear that a lot, and that impresses me because I'm actually a pastor, and I care for people all the time and take care of their needs, and I see hurting people every single day. Today I have to go to the hospital to take care. So I feel the weight of that emotional appeal. I do, I very seriously do. But think about this for a second. If we say the standard is if it's financially difficult or emotionally difficult
This thing out here looking like Jesus.
to have a child, then we can kill them. What does that say to most every family in America that might be having financial difficulties or emotional difficulties in raising children are hard? They're actually really hard.
I mean,
And if we set that as a standard, we would say, well, we can kill all children.
and what I'm hearing from a lot of young adults in my generation is a lot of people don't want to have kids.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
That's what it's been. It's a very popular idea now.
Sure it is, yeah. I have 4 kids, and when I drive places, especially in Arizona, when I drive places to get out, people look at me like I'm Mormon or something. They're like, obviously Mormon, because having more than even 1 kid today, 2 kids is like, wow, you have a huge family. But yeah, we just want you to consider that and think through that with us as a community. Those arguments, do they really work?
Jeff, you're out here doing great work, sir. If I went to church, I'd come to your church. Yes. So that's like my third one of him. I'm going to switch to another guy. I can't think of his name. I'll do that later on. But thanks for tuning in. Real Ninja Reacts. Check us out. Podcast every Wednesday. Y'all enjoy your night. Holla back.